Tanahashi!
What is up, YouTube? This is Nanashi, back with another Weiss Schwarz deck profile video. This time we'll be looking at my all-new, mostly blue slime deck. So the anime itself was overall pretty good across all 3 seasons, but no matter how much I tried to pay attention to the story, I kept finding my attention specifically drawn back to the goblins and the Tempest Wolves. These little runts and how they literally turned a Sticks and Rocks village into a thriving and flourishing metropolitan city is unbelievably fun to watch transpire. Not to mention I am a sucker for wolves and good boys in general, being kick-ass in combat and having wild superpowers to boot. And while it's not possible to build exclusively to those 2 groups yet, they do have a few fun pieces to build around that makes this deck incredibly fun, surprisingly playable, and hella budget. And you'll see what I mean when we take a closer look. Starting with the level 0 cards, we have 3 combination with Gobta Tempest Wolf, which immediately deep dives into the Goblin Wolf tandem theme. When you play it, you can discard a Demon Continent character to search a temporary retreat Gobta from deck to hand. In addition, it gives any temporary retreat Gobta on stage 1000 power, and you can put the wolf to rest to give any character 1500 power for the turn. We have a pair of Cool and Collected Soe to fill in the role of recovery and hand correction. When you play it from hand, you can discard a card and reveal the top card of the deck, then return any character in your waiting room to hand with equal or lower level than the revealed card. And he has a shift ability where if he's in the clock at the start of your main phase, you can swap him with any blue card in your hand. We have 3 for my comrade's Rimuru, the slime that started everything. If you reverse a character in battle, he gives any character you control 500 power for the turn, and he has a Brainstorm that can search characters from deck to hand. We have a pair of Last Journey Shizu, one of the most uplifting and depressing characters in the show. When you play her, you can pay a stock and swap a Climax in hand with one in your waiting room. And when she attacks, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one back, and put the other in the waiting room. We have a playset of Rimuru Fresh from a Bath, a deck thinner and frontline brawler. When you play him from hand, you can reveal the top card of the deck, and if it's a character or an event called Anti-Demon Mask, it goes under him as a marker, and while he has a marker, he gains 2000 power. We have 3 Sensible Rigor, the first Goblin Rimuru ever met. When you play him, you can put any card in your hand into your clock to reveal cards off the top of the deck up to the number of other characters you control when you played him, put any card among them into your hand, and send the rest to the waiting room. And we have 3 Unsettling Atmosphere Shion, a gorgeous ditz of a warrior woman. She gives all the opponent's characters a discounted encore of 2 stock, which is to compensate for her impressive stat line. Next is the level 1 cards. We have 3 Attendance Check Rimuru, a battle-oriented resource piece. Once per turn, if you use an Activate ability, it gains the ability to put the top card of your deck into your stock when it reverses a character in battle. We have 1 Tempest Starwolf Ranga, a pure anti-change, anti-early play, and anti-standby piece. If it's reversed in battle by anything with a higher level than the player's level, you can put that opponent's character on the bottom of their deck. And we have a playset of Temporary Retreat Gobta, the search target for the wolf earlier. It has a Climax combo where, if it declares an attack, you can reveal up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, put any level 1 or higher card among them to your hand, and send the rest to the waiting room. Then it's the level 2 cards. We have a pair of Power of a Hero Shizu, a card that directly feeds into the early plays that I run. She gives all level 3 or higher characters in front of her 2000 power, and you can put her to rest to draw and discard. We have a pair of Summoning Tempest Wolves Gobta, a utility-based counter character with a fun interaction with Attendance Check Rimuru. It pays a stock and discards itself to give a character being attacked 2500 power, and if you use that effect, it also lets you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a character, you can add it to your hand and discard a card. Then we get to the level 3 cards. We have 3 Chance to Perform Ranga, a hugely fun early play combo. It becomes level 2 if you have 2 or more Cool Beauty Shion in your waiting room, and when you play him, you can pay an extra stock to play one of those Cool Beauty Shion from your waiting room. We have a playset of Cool Beauty Shion, the companion piece to that Ranga. When you play her either normally or by the effect of Chance to Perform Ranga, she both gains 4500 power and denies the use of backups from hand during either player's battle with her until the end of the opponent's turn. And when she attacks while you have another character, you can pay a stock and discard a character to heal 1 damage. And we have 3 Secret Strategy Rimuru, a simple yet effective game pusher. It heals 1 damage when you play it from hand, and it has a Climax combo that deals 1 damage when he declares an attack. Finally, we finish with the Climax cards. First is a playset of Great Combination. When you play it, it gives all characters 1000 power and a soul, and when you trigger it for an attack check, you draw a card. And last is a playset of Last Ditch Effort. When you play it, it gives all characters 1000 power and a soul, and when you trigger it for an attack check, you can move a Climax from your waiting room to your hand. And that is the deck. I know the build looks really janky because it's more built with flavor in mind than competitiveness, but the deck is surprisingly competent. It filters resource and stock charges through early levels, and while the Climax combo itself is pretty subpar and minimal, the early play combo that it has access to is incredibly flavorful and incredibly well supported. And I wasn't kidding about the budget factor either. The whole deck cost maybe $40 to make, half of which was the sleeves, box, and shipping costs. Also, I should mention there is a set 3 for Slime coming out in Japan, and it did include more support for the wolves and the goblins. So if we get that relatively soon, I do plan on redoing this build with some of that new support. And thank you for watching the deck profile video, and if you can think of any ways I can improve this mostly blue build, feel free to let me know. In the meantime, this has been Anashi, signing out.